All right, so this is the 2021 NCAA Tournament Mascot Bracket. I'm Paul Mueller, and with my good friend Andrew Wilson, and we're going to break down the brackets, not in predicting which team will actually win, but which mascot would win in a fight, and more which nickname would win in a fight, not just the fluffy guy running around. How did we come up with this, Andrew?
It's just brilliant, Paul. This is the way you got to do it. This is the way that you really want to. I mean, there's analytics and there's stuff like that, and then there's what really matters, which is mascots.
Exactly. And so a few rules that we have are, if there's an adjective in front of something that might mean something, you'll see these as they come along. If you are fooled by some reason to actually watch this, you'll pick up our rules as you go along pretty easily. So I think what we'll do is we'll go like from each of the different sections and just get to the Sweet 16. Then we'll do the Sweet 16 all together.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, let's start with the West. And so the first matchup is the play-in game of Norfolk State, right, and Appalachian State.
Yeah.
Norfolk State is the Spartans, and they're interesting because it's an HBCU, I believe, and so their Spartan is African American, which you don't see all the time, which is cool, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And Appalachian State they're the Mountaineers, right?
They are, yeah.
Who do you think wins in a fight between a Spartan and a Mountaineer?
Well, historically in these mascot brackets, Paul, the Spartans have done very well. The App State Mountaineer has a corncob pipe in his mouth, which, that's nice, but I don't really think it's going to stack up too well against the Spartan.
Agreed. And then, so if we have the Spartan winning against the Mountaineer, they go up against a Bulldog. Is this even close?
Bulldogs haven't usually done well in our mascot brackets.
One time they faced the Longhorns and they won that one.
Yeah, they must have used some underhanded tricks, though. I'm thinking. I don't know. The Gonzaga does have a somewhat fierce-looking Bulldog, but I might lean towards the Spartans here.
I think I'd agree with you on that. Now, Oklahoma is the Sooners, Missouri the Tigers. Sooners are, of course, people who jumped. They jumped the line in getting to claim territory in Oklahoma. Does the Sooner have a gun?
No.
He's just early. Okay, and against a tiger, the largest cat in the world.
Yeah, what are you thinking on this one, Paul? I know usually you, historically, you have been down on the Sooners.
Yeah, I mean,
continue?
Go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering if that's going to continue this year or not.
I think a tiger is a tough matchup for the Sooner.
Yeah.
I think we should go with tiger there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Let's see. Then we have the Creighton Blue Jay against UC Santa Barbara. They're the Gauchos, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what a Gaucho is?
I was hoping you would have some info. They have a nice hat. Is it? And they ride a horse.
Yeah,
I think that in and of itself is probably enough to beat a Blue Jay. But what do you think?
Yeah. Okay. So according to Wikipedia and Google here, it's a cowboy of the South American Pampas, kind of in Argentina. And I could be wrong, but I think these are guys who, when they joined, they were Lancers. and when they joined Simon Bolivar, it really helped him out in fighting the Spanish in those South American wars of independence. But yeah, so I think definitely there's enough to beat a Blue Jay.
Yep, and their mascot has a pretty nice mustache, which, that can't hurt. So
Correct. All right, so that's the first person. Oh, I guess Spartans have a weapon. People with weapons usually do pretty well. Which leads us next to the Cavaliers against Ohio is the Wildcats?
The Bobcats.
Bobcats.
Yeah. They are the closest Division I school to where we live. Here
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So I love the Bobcats. I'd root for them, but again, humans with weapons. The Cavaliers, they know how to swing the swords.
Yeah.
I think that might give them an advantage here.
I would agree.
Paul, in other years when we've done the mascot brackets, when it's been too close to call, we've looked at where they've played the games.
And that's a good point. But now they're all in Indiana.
Yeah, that might affect things.
Yeah, especially are there any hurricanes this year?
Miami's not in there. I don't know. We'll have to see if there's any weather teams. But yeah, I think Virginia gets by the Bobcats in the mascot bracket.
That sets up a cool matchup for the next round too. All right, let's go to this play-in game next. We have Wichita State, right?
Yeah.
Which are the Shockers.
Yeah.
Are they playing Drake?
I think so. And aren't that the Bulldogs, right?
The Bulldogs. Which Shocker is that's like someone in the wheat harvesting process, right?
Right. They really, I think, would be a more formidable team if they were like the Chargers, of Los Angeles Chargers. If they had some electricity, I don't think they really bring much electricity to this battle, though.
Do they have enough to beat a Bulldog?
I don't know. I shouldn't talk down about Bulldogs. I am wearing a Fresno State Bulldog shirt, but they're not in the tournament. So if this Bulldog was in the tournament, I mean, he means business. I don't know.
Bulldog does mean business.
I don't know what the Drake Bulldog looks like. I think, if I remember right, the Drake Bulldog is more of a dignified looking character. He is, yeah.
Here, did you see the share at the bottom?
Yeah.
Here, click that. And then you click tab.
Yeah.
Well, you have to click the picture of the tab and then click it again. It is kind of a dignified looking Bulldog.
Yeah.
And that Shocker looks like he's ready to go. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I saw it. But yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd beat the Shocker, though. I think we'd probably still give it to I don't know. This is a toss, but they're both going to lose to the Trojan anyway.
I agree with you there. Yeah.
So, I would say maybe give it to the Shocker, but he's going to lose.
Right. Trojans historically do very well.
They do pretty well. All right. Now, Kansas is the Jayhawks, and Eastern Washington is the Eagles.
Right.
Okay. Now, what makes a Jayhawk better than a regular hawk? Is there anything?
Well, from just a mascot logo perspective, in years past, we have given the Jayhawk extra points. One, because he's wearing shoes, which is classy. And two, he kind of has a strut that emits some great confidence. So that has aided him in that way. But the Jayhawk part, I don't know. What does that help him at all, Paul?
I mean, if he was like a golden hawk, maybe.
Oh yeah, colors always are a big boost.
Let's see.
Also, if you just look at the logos, the Eastern Washington Eagle reminds us that it can fly. The Jayhawk's not really inspiring us confidence that he's going to go airborne.
No, because he's wearing shoes.
That's right.
The Eastern Washington Eagle says, "I don't need shoes. I'm an eagle."
I think I'm going with the Eagles here.
I think so too. Yeah. Let's see. Now, Oregon is the Ducks, and VCU is the Rams. Now, I'm a fan of Ducks in general, but I don't think they could beat a Ram.
I think you're right. I think when it comes down to it, I think we need to give it to the Rams, though Oregon has a great mascot who in football season likes to ride a motorcycle. A duck on a motorcycle might have a much better chance against a Ram, but this isn't football. This is basketball. So, yeah, I'd say let's go Rams.
And I think the duck, like there was some agreement with Disney back in the day to use Donald Duck as the likeness.
Mm-hmm. It looks eerily similar. Yeah.
All right, Iowa is the Hawkeyes, and Grand Canyon. What are they?
The Antelopes, I think. So if that is the case, Hawkeyes and Antelopes. Antelopes is a very unique mascot. A Hawkeye hasn't traditionally done very well. I think I'd probably give it to the Antelopes here.
Yeah, and I mean it's just part of the hawk, really.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now Hawkeye is. Xavier and I have watched the animated series of Last of the Mohicans. There's a guy named Hawkeye in that's pretty cool. But I don't think that's what they're named after.
Yeah, and there's also, of course, a MASH character named Hawkeye, but I think, again, that's not who's going to take the field or the court here.
Yeah. Let's see. We have the Spartans against the Tigers, which is a classic matchup, really.
It is, yeah. And it probably leads us to ask again, is this one Spartan versus one Tiger, or are there more of them? And if so, how does that affect things?
That's a great question. Spartans like to fight in a group. They would fight in a phalanx, which is a formation where they were all kind of huddled together with their each shields overlapping, which I think Tigers would not be a fan of running into a phalanx. But
Right.
They're still I think typically we have done just one against one, unless it's like a wolf pack or something.
Mm-hmm. I think that makes sense. Well, if it's one against one, it would benefit the Tiger.
I think so. And Spartan doesn't have a horse or anything either, unlike the Gauchos and the Cavaliers. And so that's our next one, of course.
And yeah, boy, this is going to be a good second round battle, isn't it? Two armed humans who ride horses and can swing a sword.
Well, actually, the Gaucho has a lance. Looks like historically.
Oh,
and with the lance, you have a little extra reach. So I think that's going to be enough for him to beat the Cavalier. What do you think?
I think that sounds good. The Gaucho definitely has a little more the unique quality points too.
It's a good name. It's a good name.
Yeah.
There's other Cavaliers out there, but I think this is only Gaucho we've run across in our years of doing this. And we have a Trojan and an Eagle.
Yeah. I would say, even though the Eagle has the airborne attack, I'm going to give this one, I think, to the Trojan. I think they can handle an Eagle. This isn't a Tiger, a Tiger Spartan situation. I think the Trojan gets this.
I would agree with that. This is a great matchup here. Now we have a Ram against an Antelope. How big? Antelopes are a lot smaller, though, right?
They are, yeah. They're quick and elusive, but if you remember way back in the day on Monday Night Football, they'd have the two helmets, and then they go dun 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 dun, and the helmets would crash against each other. If you take a Ram and an Antelope, and they crash against each other, the Antelope is going to have a concussion, and the Ram's going to be fine. So.
Yeah, I
think
would agree with
the
that.
Rams take this.
All right, so we have our Sweet 16 set up for the West. Let's move on to the South. All right, so our first one we have Baylor against Hartford. Was there a Hartford Whalers of something at some point?
Oh, in the NHL, yeah, before they became the Carolina Hurricanes.
Okay. I was hoping for Whalers. I thought that'd be a cool mascot, but no, these are the
Hawks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hawks usually don't do too well. I'd say Bears, just from a size advantage, they could take care of the Hawks.
I'd agree with that. Now we have the Tar Heels against the Badgers. What is a Tar Heel again?
Well, I know in years past, sometimes you've been a little down on the Tar Heels. Isn't it a Ram who has stepped in tar? It obviously has more historical context for that for tobacco farmers in North Carolina. But as it plays out in our mascot bracket, a few moments ago, Paul, you said a hawk's eye, that's only one part of his body. Well, if we're saying a ram's heel, I don't know how good they're going to do.
Yeah. Here's this is from a grad school thing from unc.edu. It says one version of the nickname's origin has the moniker first being applied to North Carolinians during the Civil War. One record talks of a battle in Virginia where their supporting column retreated, leaving the North Carolina troops to fight alone. The victorious troops were asked in a condescending tone by some Virginians who had retreated, "Any more tar down in the old North State, boys?" The response came quickly, "No, not a bit. Old Jeff's bought it all up." As in Jefferson Davis, I'm guessing. The Virginians asked, "Is that so? What is he going to do with it?" The reply, "He is going to put it on Ewan's heels to make you stick better in the next fight." So they wouldn't run away, allegedly. But they still have a ram. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and, if you're walking down a dark alley at night, you do not want to meet a badger. So,
especially a badger in that sweet sweater.
Right, very classy badger. So.
But he means business at the same time.
Yeah, Bucky Badger. I think Bucky Badger's gotta advance there.
Yeah. Let's see. Then we have another Wildcat against an Eagle, which is, I think, went through Eagles, right?
Yeah.
which is, I think, one of the more boring matchups we see too often in this.
Yeah, there's always a lot of Wildcats every year.
A lot of
You
Eagles,
sprinkle in
too.
some Eagles, yeah. And neither of these have adjectives in front of it. So either way, whoever wins this one, I don't think is going to advance too far.
Let's see. How big is a Wildcat? Wildcat is. They're tiny. It says a male is only 17 to 36 inches, and the male will only weigh up to 18 pounds. Female up to 11 pounds.
Sounds like it's more bobcat territory than cougar or catamount territory.
Yeah. Which Catamount is a great name, too.
It is.
Vermont doing that. So I would say it sounds like eagle food.
Let's do it.
Let's see. Now, North Texas has one of the best mascots. These are two solid mascots.
It is. It's a much better matchup than the one we just had.
And of course, they're the Mean Green because Mean Joe Green attended there, correct?
I don't know if that's correct. I know they're so this is one of those schools that has a mascot as an eagle, but their nickname is the Mean Green. So and that's you get some quality points for the uniqueness of that nickname. I think I'd lean towards the Mean Green against the Boilermakers here, but I don't know. Boilermakers, they like to do work down in the trenches, and they have a hard work ethic, and they carry it around that hammer and a hard hat. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I think. Let's see. I'm not quickly finding any. If it was Mean Joe Green went there.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I think it was just that in 1966, their defensive squad finished the season second in the nation against the Rush. And that school year, Joe Green, a sophomore at North Texas, played on their defensive side. So
okay, so he was there.
Yeah, you are right, Paul.
Well, I don't know. Mean Joe Green. I mean, is that sweet? Is that Coca-Cola or Pepsi commercial?
I think it was a Coke commercial.
Yeah, I think he's probably tougher than a Boilermaker. I mean, Boilermakers are really tough though. But I don't know. What do you think? They do have an eagle, which doesn't make us. I mean, if they had Joe Green as their that would be so cool.
Yeah. I would say because of the misdirection with the mascot, and because the Boilermakers have not only the headgear but also
The hammer.
Let's give it to the Boilermakers.
All right.
And they're playing, and this is one of the few times we can say a Boilermaker is going to be at home in the Hoosier State, right?
Yeah.
So we'll give them an edge there.
All right. Now we have Utah State. Are they the Aggies?
They are, yeah.
And Texas Tech is the Red Raiders.
They are. The Aggies often don't do very well in our mascot bracket, though. Not all Aggies are created equal. You have some who look a lot like cowboys, like New Mexico State, and you have some who are like agriculture students who don't often win. But I think the Red Raiders, I think they take this one.
Yeah, they're pretty tough. Now we have Arkansas and Colgate is the Raiders.
I wonder what kind of Raiders are they?
Okay, it's a guy with kind of. Where is Colgate located? It's on the East Coast, right?
Yeah, it's in Hamilton, New York.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of a Revolutionary War guy. He's got a three-cornered hat and a torch and a flag.
Oh, yep. I don't know. What do you think? I'm probably a little too biased here. I'm never a fan of the Razorbacks. It's just a pig. The fancy name.
It's a fancy name helps. I think we'll give it to the Raiders.
Okay.
The guy's got a torch. It's cool.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, now a Gator against a Hokie.
The Hokie has a nice name instead of being called a gobbler or a turkey, but I mean, come on.
Exactly.
This is like a lunch menu for the Gators.
Yeah. And then Ohio State, the Buckeyes, which has historically not done well.
Right.
And is a golden eagle.
Yeah, I think the golden really helps it out, and like you said, Buckeyes. When you boil it down, it's a nut. So, yeah.
And eagles don't eat nuts, but they eat squirrels that eat nuts. So they're like two steps up on the food chain, and then you add that they're golden.
So they're not only going to win. I think what I'm hearing is that they're going to cover they're going to get within the number.
They would cover the spread if this were a fight.
If they were favored, yeah.
Yeah, if there were even spread. Are there spreads in fights?
No.
Yeah. It shows how much I gamble. All right, we'll go down to the east. All right, let's see. MSM, what is that?
I think it's Mount St. Mary's and Texas State. I want to say Texas State is the... Wait, no, that's not Texas State, right? That's Texas Southern, is that right? I want to say they're the Tigers.
Let's see. Mount St. Mary's, Mountaineers.
Okay.
They're from Maryland.
Texas State is the Tigers.
Are they? Is it Texas Southern?
Texas Southern. You're right. Yeah. Texas State's the Bobcats. They're not in this tournament. Yeah, the Texas Southern Tigers and the Mountaineers.
I'd probably put the Tiger against the Mountaineer. He does have a gun, though. I mean, most Mountaineers do have guns.
I was going to ask about that. Yeah. Does he have a gun? A firearm could come in handy, but
no, he's just got. This guy's great. He's got like a flannel shirt that's just been cut off, and the sleeves.
Well, that's nice, but flannel.
He's got a Daniel Boone cap, but I think a Tiger would tear this guy to shreds.
I think that's a good pick.
Yeah. And then could the Mountaineer take on a Wolverine, which you might find in a mountain?
But didn't we say the Tigers, though, would beat the Mountaineers, right?
We did. We sure did, yep. Yeah. So we have a Tiger against a Wolverine.
Yeah, boy, Wolverine definitely is like the mean, scrappy, tough thing like a badger is, but...
It's a tiger.
I think a tiger's bigger, yeah. Bigger, stronger, gonna win.
All right, another tiger against St. Bonaventure. Are they the Bonnies?
They are the Bonnies, but I think their mascot is like a wolf. Is that right? What do we make of the Bonnies? They haven't been in the tournament for a minute, if I remember.
Let's see.
It is like a wolf. Their mascot's a wolf, and that's kind of in their logo.
Oh, okay. It looks like there's let's see. Let's see. Let me.
It looks like they St. Bonaventure used to have a Native American mascot, and so they've since changed, and their nickname then is the Bonnies, but the wolf is their physical mascot.
Yeah, it looks like they have this. Yeah, there's this statue of a wolf shaking hands with short for Bonaventure. Let's see. They were called the Alleghenies and Brownies, which is not a great color. Oh, like the Brownies because like the robes of a friar. Let's see. Then they were called the Brown Indians because they're close to the Seneca Nation. But then, of course, that went out of style. Apparently, there's this wolf was attacking livestock where St. Francis lived, and then he made friends with it. So it's like, that's a long trip to get to a wolf, because there's a friar who helped a wolf one time.
Yeah, I think the Bayou Bengals are going to take this one.
But if St. Francis could make a wolf, stop a vicious wolf, could he do that to a tiger?
Well, I would say if it was just an ordinary tiger, maybe. But if it's one from Baton Rouge, I'd say no.
Okay. All right. Then we have the Colorado Buffalo, right? Are they Gold Buffalo?
No, just the Buffs.
The Buffalo.
Yeah.
And the Georgetown Bulldog, which
the Hoyas, right?
Hoya, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, Hoya is a type of bulldog,
right?
And we do have kind of a bold type thing, and that's what bulldogs were originally meant to do, is fight them. So I think we give it to the Hoya.
I'm with you. That sounds good.
All right, now then we have the Florida State Seminoles against the North Carolina Greensboro. Are they the Spartans or the Trojans? Spartans. Well, that's tough.
It is. That's a good battle. The Seminoles, I think they'd have weapons. Do the these Spartans? Do you think they have?
I think Spartans, by definition, have weapons. And if you read Herodotus, when he writes about the Battle of Thermopylae, which, I mean, Herodotus has his bias, so we don't know if he's for sure, and he obviously wasn't there. But he talked about how the Spartans would, even if they didn't have weapons, would fight with their teeth and fingers rather than die. I don't know. But a Seminole might have a gun. I guess the guy running around usually has a spear instead of a gun.
Right.
This is a tough one. I could go either way. What do you think?
I think this is the typical matchup that we'd want to say, where is it being played at? But yet that doesn't really help us too much this year. I think in a tight game, I'd give it to the Seminoles here.
Yeah, let's give it to the Seminoles.
Hey, just a note. We talked about Hoyas, and their mascot is a bulldog, of course. but Hoya doesn't have, I don't think, any connection with a bulldog. It's actually from the Latin, which means what or such. So, yeah.
That's such a great story,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, probably nothing, but
sounds good.
Just to share Wikipedia knowledge. Okay, where are we?
All right, now we're the BYU. They're the Cougars.
Right, much better than a Wildcat, of course.
Better than a Wildcat. Not as good as a Catamount. Let's see, but then we have a Spartan versus a Bruin to start with.
Yeah, and a Bruin better than just a bear, but Spartans again with the weapons. How have we done so far in this tournament with the Spartans? We've said they've actually got.
They lost to a Tiger.
They did. And what was that last one we did? Was that Spartan, the UNC?
Yeah, against the Seminole.
Yeah, so because the Spartans aren't doing well this tournament, I think I'd give it to the Bruins.
Okay, and then a Bruin, of course, is going to beat a Cougar, right?
I think that could be a good matchup, but I think the Bruin does have better size there.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Then we have Texas Longhorns against the Abilene Christian Wildcat.
Right. Well, we've already talked about Wildcats a little bit. Longhorns definitely have the size.
Longhorns.
Yeah. I think they withstand the charge there.
Yeah, they would be the ones that charged. This is a great mascot. You have a husky and a terrapin, which is a type of a turtle.
Right. Yeah, I think the terrapin could play really good defense with that shell of his. If the Huskies, again, if this is like a wolf pack of Huskies, then that might affect it. But just a Husky and a terrapin, I think the terrapin could just outlast the Husky.
I think so too, and then maybe get a snap in at some point because he kind of looks like a snapping turtle too, right?
He does, yeah, and he usually is walking on his 2 feet, so that's got to help too.
Biped turtles are the best turtles
when it comes to the mascot bracket.
Yeah. All right, Alabama is the Crimson Tide. Which I haven't historically been a fan of. And Iona is a Gale. Let's see. I think it's like a Gaelic warrior. Oh, this guy looks like he's kind of like a knockoff of the Irish guy from Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
And the Crimson is an elephant, right?
It is, yeah.
I don't understand where that.
Cow. Well, then the name came from 1 year in football. A sports writer was so impressed with how the offensive line just demolished the defense, and he wrote that it looked like a crimson tide rolling down the field. And people loved it, and it stuck.
But is that Gale, is he going to be able to withstand a crimson tide?
Well, so are we going to say it's a crimson tide like a wave, or are we going to say it's an elephant?
I think it's some sort of, that's what the words is crimson tide. Mm-hmm. An elephant thing is just kind of added.
Okay, sure. Well, I think we have to ask then, what causes it to be crimson, right? Is this just some algae or bacteria, or is this like blood, or what's up with it?
That's a great question. Do they have algae issues in Alabama on like the Gulf Shores? Well,
I don't know. They probably don't have. Yeah. Do you think a Gale is adept at marine maneuvers, like in a boat?
I think because I think they're from Ireland.
Well, if they are, then I think we give it to the Gales.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, the Irish Gaelic tradition. Yeah. They are nautical enough. Let's see. Okay, so now we are into the Midwest, right?
All right.
All right. Let's see. So we have Illinois Illini, or the Fighting Illini, right?
Right.
But this is a great mascot, the Dragons. Right? Yeah, Drexen is a dragon.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Paul. If you remember past years, the UAB Blazers, who's also a dragon, they have gone far. I think Drexel wins this one fairly easily, I would say.
Yeah, and look at it. We even get a shout out from Yahoo here. While the Drexel might take the mascot who'd win in a fight bracket.
So they're with us.
They're with us, yeah.
They agree, yeah.
All right. Loyola Chicago is the Ramblers, which, I mean, now they have a wolf or something, right? But originally it's like a vagabond kind of. Originally, like what the name was referring to. Georgia Tech, they are the Yellow Jackets.
Right, yeah.
Which can be pestery.
Which can, and they can sting, and again, if there's enough of them, they could definitely do damage. But I don't know. I'm kind of thinking size-wise and just the snapping ability maybe of the Rambler. I'd give it maybe to them. What do you think?
I think so, yeah. Let's see. Tennessee Volunteer and Oregon State Beaver. Well, volunteers typically wear raccoon hats, and I could see them trying to trade those in for beaver skin caps.
I like what how you're thinking there. Yep, and they have firearms too.
That helps.
Yeah.
All right, Oklahoma State is the Cowboys, right?
Right. Yep.
And Liberty is
the Flames.
I mean, Cowboys are very familiar with how fire works. They're the Flames, and they have a bird or something?
They do. They have so this is another one, like their physical mascot is some sort of bird, but their nickname is the Flames.
Is it just cheaper to have to get bird or animal mascots, like costumes?
Then flame mascot?
Like a flame would be even if they had one of those, wavy arm guys at a car dealership that was kind of fiery, I think that'd be awesome.
Paul, you may know this. Isn't the University of Illinois Chicago? Aren't they the Flames?
They are the Flames.
Do they have a flame mascot, or do they go a different route too? I don't know. They're not in the tournament, so they we can't really tell. But
it's a dragon.
Whoa,
Sparky D Dragon.
I wish they were in the tournament.
Oh, but it's still like a.
Oh no, that's
a Illini thing. Yeah, there you go.
Well, okay. Yeah, so see, just because your nickname's the Flames doesn't mean you have to put a bird up there. So, Cowboys big.
Yeah. Now here's one of my favorite mascots against one of my least favorite.
I'm with you.
Orange is just a color. It used to be Orange Men. They're upstate New York. If they were called the Iroquois or something, that would be pretty cool. You do see that when they're using like an actual tribe and they have the tribe support for using it, like then there's then there's some success using a cool American Indian mascot. But just calling it orange is weird and weak.
And the Aztecs is really a cool mascot.
It's a great mascot. Now, I mean, if they were going up against the Conquistadors or something, not good. But against orange, it's a color. They got it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Morehead State is the Eagles and another mountain. There's a lot of Mountaineers in this one.
Yeah, we've had a couple recently here. Another one with West Virginia. They again wear the coonskin caps and carry firearm as well. I think Mountaineers take this one.
I think so too. Let's see. Clemson is the Tigers and Rutgers is
the Scarlet Knights.
That's a sweet mascot.
It is. Yeah, the color always helps. You got to think they got some armor going and probably a sword.
And a horse, maybe a lance.
Maybe. I don't know if I've seen the Scarlet Knight with a horse, but despite that, I would go with them over the Tiger here.
Okay, he's got more of a Roman helmet. That's not very historic. Oh no, okay, it's the visor up, but the chin strap should reach around a little bit more. But
and there is one horse.
Oh, there you go. So, look at this guy.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, let's give it to that. I mean, a tiger's another great mascot, but it's kind of run of the mill. I think you would expect the Scarlet Knight to have practice fighting tigers.
Sure. Yeah.
Houston is the Cougars.
Mm-hmm.
And Cleveland State are the Vikings.
Yeah. Making another Ohio team here into the tournament. I think the Vikings take this one.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be a pretty good year for people with weapons so far.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're all the way to the Sweet 16.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Have we? No, we haven't. We just went one round in the East. Oh, we need to go back to the East. My fault. Okay, yeah. So let's see. Let's see. Do we have a Spartan against a Tiger here, right?
I think we have Well, what was Mount St. Mary's?
Oh yeah,
I think we have Tigers versus Tigers. I think.
Is Texas Southern the Tigers? We just talked about this.
They are. Yeah, they are the Tigers.
Okay.
Mount St. Mary's and Mountaineers.
Yeah. That's right.
So I'd say this is a Tiger versus Tiger battle. I think the LSU Tiger is a lot more fierce than the Texas Southern Tiger.
All right, I'll take your word for it. Now we have the Hoya against the Seminole. I think I'd give it to the Seminole.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Bruin would probably eat a Longhorn, though, right?
Yeah, we'll go with that. A Longhorn could definitely win, but it's not guaranteed.
Correct. Yeah. No, now we have the Terrapin against the Gale.
Yeah, I don't know. The Gale has just survived an attack of a Crimson Tide, but the Terrapin is sneaky. I don't know. What do you think?
Let's see. Yeah, this guy looks pretty sneaky too. He's got quite the grin there, and points for going beard, no mustache. I think that's a classy look.
It's a bold step for a mascot, but he pulls it off well.
Yeah. And the Maryland Terrapin. I mean, that guy just looks awesome. I mean, the logo guy, the puffy guy isn't as cool, but the logo guy is pretty sweet. I say we give it to the Terrapin.
All right. Sounds good.
Then back to the Midwest. The Dragon against the Rambler. Dragon has that easy, right?
Yep, hands down.
Cowboy against a Volunteer, which is interesting.
I feel like they met before in this tournament.
I think so too. They both lost at the Alamo, though. Like they were kind of on the same team, working together at the Battle of the Alamo.
Mm-hmm. Do you think Cowboy is maybe more adept at riding a horse than a Volunteer?
I think that's fair to say. Tennessee were known. Oh, it was Kentucky Long Rifles was the thing. That I don't know if they had those. Yeah, I think we'd give it to the Cowboy. Like, especially if it was a close proximity fight.
Mm-hmm. I think, and again, this might be one that if they were playing someplace else, we might say what terrain benefits who. But in Indiana, I'd say the Cowboys, though they'll be up against it in the next round.
For sure. Now we have an Aztec and a Mountaineer. And the Mountaineer does have a gun, and gunpowder was kind of the downfall of the Aztecs. They weren't quite ready to go up against that.
I'm sad to see the Aztecs not advance in this tournament, but it's hard to argue against that kind of logic, Paul.
That's true. That's true. This is a good one, though. Scarlet Knight against a Viking.
Wow, that is. So, Paul, you are definitely the history guy here. What can we learn from history about these mascots?
Well, the way that Knights were able to beat Vikings because they built castles. And Vikings would rather just attack a town than a castle. They weren't good at siege warfare, and especially when you get into the knights being mounted and the knights, they're probably a few hundred years later, really, than Vikings. I think it'd really be kind of easier than you'd expect it to be for the knight.
All right, yeah, let's advance the Scarlet Knights.
All right, now to the Sweet 16.
Do we still need to do the South second round there?
Oh, sure enough. Sure enough, we got too happy. We got too excited trying to move forward too soon. All right. So a Baylor Bear against a Badger.
Badger's tough, but Bear's just too big, I think. Too big and strong.
Do you think the guy with the hammer can beat the Eagle?
I do.
Hey, we got a 1 and a 4. That doesn't happen all the time. A Red Raider against a Raider.
The color has to put Texas Tech over the edge, I think.
Yeah, and you look at the mascots, there's about 100-year discrepancy too. If the Raider from Colgate has a pistol, it's going to be a one-shot thing, whereas the more cowboyish Raider is going to have 6 shots in his.
Those are good odds for the Lubbock Raider there.
Yeah. Okay, a Gator and Oral Roberts. What were they again?
A Golden Eagle.
A Golden Eagle against a Gator.
Yeah, I mean, the Golden Eagle does have the ability to fly, but I don't see any reason that would put that to vote other than the Gator, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. Not a good year for birds.
And the Gator wears a nice sweater, too. We gave Bucky Badger some points for a sweater. Probably got to give the Gator there, too.
There's a lot of sweaters.
Well, it's a classy collegiate look, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, now we're ready for the Sweet 16.
Yeah, finally. Yeah, after I put it up there a few times already. All right. So we have a tiger against the gaucho.
Yeah. What are you thinking here, Paul? Does the Gauchos run? Does their luck run out, or do they advance?
Gauchos are pretty hardy fellows, it sounds like, on the Argentinian Pampas or whatever it's called. I think their run might continue, but I could be persuaded.
Well, I don't think I'd try to persuade you. I'm with you there. Gauchos advance, I think.
Now this is a good matchup here: a Spartan against a ram.
Mm-hmm.
I think
it is.
I think the ram makes a good charge, but runs into the Spartan shield, and like maybe knocks the Spartan down, but then he doesn't really know what to do.
Right, and then the ram turns around to go, get a head of steam again, and the Trojan,
The Trojan,
takes advantage.
the Trojan.
Yeah, not a Spartan. Trojan takes advantage there. I think if the ram runs into the shield, I think he'd probably get up saying that was not an antelope.
I think you're right. Yeah, so we'll give that one to the Trojans then. Let's see. Next we have the. We'll go with the South now. The bear against the guy with the Boilermaker.
Yeah. Well, the Boilermakers gotten the job done against a eagle, and a mean one at that. He's gotten the job done against another set of eagles. I don't know though. Going up against bears.
The bear is probably just too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we'd have to go with the bear.
All right, let's do it.
Then the Red Raider against a gator. There's some good rhyming and alliteration in the South Sweet 16.
Yeah, absolutely. Mascot bracket this year. If it was just a Red Raider against a gator, I think I might favor a gator. But the Red Raider, especially Texas Tech's, I don't think you can think of him without him riding his horse and with a gun. And I would go with the Texas Tech Red Raiders here.
I think so too. Let's jump down to we have the Tiger and a Seminole. The Seminoles had a pretty good run.
They have.
They beat a Spartan, one in the Hoya that isn't as impressive. And this Tiger has beaten another Tiger and a Wolverine.
Mm-hmm. And boy, that LSU Tiger is fierce. But the Seminole and a Spear, and oftentimes a Florida State Seminole Spear is on fire. Tigers don't like fire. I think I'd go to the Seminoles there.
Is there a scene in the Jungle Book with fire? The tiger
there is.
Like it?
Yeah, Shere Khan is scared out of his wits when the jungle catches on fire from lightning. So yeah.
Yeah. So I think a fiery spear would be good. People with weapons doing pretty good. Let's see. We have the Bruin against Terrapin. Is this where the Terrapin's end runs?
I hate to see it, but the Bears, we did just advance a bear in another matchup, and the Bruins, I might even say, is more powerful than just a bear. I think we give it to the Bruins here.
I'd agree with that. A dragon against a cowboy.
I don't know if Drexel's really tested too much here. I mean, fire breathing. Need we say more?
Yeah, the cowboy has a gun, but I mean, he might get a few. There might be a hole in the dragon's wing, but not. He's going to be okay.
I think so.
Mountaineer against a Scarlet Knight. Now this I think this is where terrain plays a part. If they were in the mountains or in the forested region, I think a mountaineer might have an advantage. But it's flat Indiana, and he's on a horse, and so I think he's going to be okay. The Scarlet Knight's going to win that one.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Scarlet Knights have had a great run. They defeated Tigers and Vikings. I think they get past Mountaineers too.
I agree. Oh, which sets up just a fantastic in the next round. But we'll go up here first. All right, so the Gaucho and a Trojan.
It's an all-California Elite Eight in the West there.
Yeah, and the Trojans have outlasted all the Spartans, which isn't something that always happens.
Did we say, Paul, that the Gaucho has a firearm?
He has a lance.
A lance. Does he ride a horse?
Yeah, he's riding a horse, but
a Trojan probably does too, right?
A Trojan would. Some of them might have had chariots, but they wouldn't have ridden, and they would more like ride the chariot into battle than get off and fight on foot. But he's got a spear, and horses don't like running into things with spears.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'd probably give it to the Trojan.
And I think Trojan probably has better armor than a Gaucho.
For sure. A Gaucho has very little armor.
Yeah, I don't think he really puts a lot of time into the armor game. So, yeah, Trojans advance to the Final Four.
Then we have the Red Raider and a Bear.
An all-Texas Elite Eight matchup here in the South. Bears have done well this tournament. But again, this Red Raider is on a horse with a firearm.
I think that's going to do it.
Yeah. Also, this Red Raider has like the Zorro-inspired eye mask. So, not only might he defeat the bear can't even identify him. So
that's a good point. And with COVID, he's probably wearing another mask too. So I mean, it'd be
completely covered, face covered. Yeah.
All right, now we have a Seminole against a Bruin.
Wow, this is this pitting the size of a Bruin versus man with weapon in this matchup. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think a Bruin's going to be afraid of fire like the Tiger was.
I think that's a good point. Yeah.
I think we got to give it to the Bruin for this one.
All right. Yeah.
And this is just a great matchup. A dragon against a knight to go to the Final Four.
And it's a Scarlet Knight. That's like this is a rivalry from way back.
Yeah. Now, if it was just a regular, like, if you look at like stories of knights fighting dragons, I mean, usually there's like a bunch of the knights died before the champion finally comes along, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if it was a regular knight, I would give it to the dragon, but this is making me question it a little bit.
The Scarlet part of that? Yeah. Yeah, that is definitely an advantage there. Here's what I'm going to say. So far in this tournament, I don't think the Dragons have really been tested. They've defeated the Fighting Illini and the Ramblers and the Cowboys, and they really haven't been tested. I think that comes back to hurt them here against the Scarlet Knight. I think they go into this matchup thinking they're all that, and I think the Scarlet Knight puts one right where it needs to be to win this battle.
Which is a shame because the Dragon's a top. I mean, it's a solid mascot.
Very much so, yeah. And again, I think a dragon has won our tournament before with UAB, but I don't know if it happens this year.
I don't think so. And we also no demonic mascots this year.
You're right. They usually do really well, right? But no Sun Devils, no Blue Devils.
No Demon Deacon. I mean, this. It's nice. It's nice not to have to deal with the demonic when making this. This bracket's supposed to be fun, and the demonic isn't fun.
They're good at mascot games, but yeah.
All right.
All right, what we got then?
The round of 4. We have a Trojan against a Bruin, and a Red Raider against a Scarlet Knight.
This is 6-11 play-in, 6-10. This is it. This feels
It's been
right.
a lot worse before.
It has. It feels right. It also feels right that the bracket could be shot on play-in night, but that's the way it goes with mascot bracket. You
Well, but
you
it's
just have to go with mascots.
yeah. But I mean, technically, even if we had a Spartan here instead, a Spartan would beat a Trojan because that's what happened in the Trojan War. But this is the Bruin.
Right. Yeah. All right. So what are we going to say?
Well, I think it might be some sort of like rock paper scissors thing with like a Spartan could beat a Trojan, but a Bruin could beat a Spartan, but I don't know. No, never mind. Forget that.
What happened with the Baylor Bears? They lost.
They lost to the Red Raider.
To the Red Raiders, to a man on a horse with a gun.
Firearm.
This is a different type of thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah, I you know what? I'm gonna go with. I would vote for the Bruins.
Okay.
Too big in size. Yeah.
Too big in size, and this has really been a tournament dominated by people with weapons, and it's cool to see an animal make it all the way to the finals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now we have a lot of the color red here. We have the Scarlet Knights and the Red Raiders.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'd love to hear what you think about this. I think color-wise, scarlet, that's more unique than red. But again, it seems like the Red Raider might be more agile in this. Right. So what do you think?
More agile, but the Scarlet Knight has armor.
That's a good point.
If it was in like a desert place, like I think that could play a part, but it's in Indiana, and I think the bullet's not going to penetrate armor in a major way unless you're really close. I guess you could shoot the horse. I don't know.
Hey, I like what you're saying. Let's go with the defense. Defense wins championships. Sometimes it wins mascot brackets. Let's go with Rutgers here.
All right, and now we have the Scarlet Knight against the Bruin. The Bruin's been through a lot by this time, though. And the Scarlet Knight has too. These guys are, they're probably punch drunk by now.
Mm-hmm. The Bruin doesn't even know who they're playing anymore. They're just, flailing around, trying their best to hit something. I think a Scarlet Knight, though, has a plan.
It's a plan and a horse.
They've had a plan this whole time. None of this is surprising to them. A 10 seed in the finals, yeah, they expected to be there. I think the Scarlet Knights from the banks of the river that they call home in Piscataway, New Jersey, I think they can take it.
Yeah, I think so. What's the final score? What score was needed to win a jousting thing? I don't want to read into all the rules of jousting. Usually we have a good way to come up with a cool final score, but I'm not coming up with anything this year.
Well, let's see. UCLA, they won 9 men's basketball titles in 10 years. So how about we give them 9?
All right. And we'll give the Rutgers 10 because it's just not a little bit more than 9, a little bit more than the Bruins.
Yeah, it's really the championship this year due to COVID. It's first 10. So,
and that's Rutgers. Rutgers is our champion.
what can I say? That's there it is. That's how it's going to happen.
All right, Scarlet Knights. Way to go, Scarlet Knights!
Congratulations, Scarlet Knights.
All right. Any big takeaways this year?
Well, as we mentioned, men with weapons did really well. Also, animals with size, bears especially, they did well. And a unique year, as you said as well, Paul. Demonic forces not really there, and weather phenomenon, cyclones and hurricanes not really there. But you know what? That's how it goes. Another fun time though, putting it together.
For sure, Andrew. Thanks for doing this. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. It's always look forward to it. We had to wait a little extra longer this year, a whole extra year, but hey, it was fun to do this again.